The paper I'm recycling today is from a weekly flyer that just about everybody gets. There's no shortage of this stuff. I'm using my immersion or stick blender to turn the paper into pulp. It only takes a couple minutes to get it to a nice consistency, and it's pretty easy to clean up too. The mash starts to absorb water pretty quickly, so it's important to add water if it's too thick so that you don't overwork your blender. Different consistencies will have different effects, and it's up to you to figure out what consistency you like. I've already got my frame in my water pan. I'm going to add the window screen, the rigid grate, and I'm going to secure it tightly with the hook and loop straps. It's important that you put them on pretty tight. That way things won't slide around and your mash won't leak out the sides. Push out any air bubbles that might have gotten trapped when you put the screen down. And now add as much pulp as you like. I'm starting out here with about half a cup, and depending on how thick the piece of paper that gives me, I can adjust it thicker or thinner, or less or more. I'm moving the mash around and breaking it up and getting everything nicely suspended. And once that looks nice and even, I'm going to slowly pull up the frame from the water pan. And this particular mash using newsprint, it's such a fine fiber that the water takes a little bit longer to drain out of the frame. So just be patient and tilt it until it's most of the water has drained out of it. Then you can undo the straps and carefully take the frame off the deckle. And there you have your pulp. I add the fine screen on top of that so that I can push out and absorb some of the excess water. And now it's just a matter of sponging and squeezing out the water from the screens. Now that it's not so drippy, and I usually do that previous step over the sink, now I can work on a rigid surface like the countertop. I can remove the grate, and when it feels pretty dry, I'll put it over a towel with the window screen side down. And with a dowel, I'll roll out very gently but firmly to try and squeeze out more of that water, to try and get it as dry as possible. Now we can see what we got. I removed the fine screen. I keep it on the mesh screen so I can handle it more carefully. And it's still very damp, but it's holding together really well. After that, I stick it onto a nice smooth flat surface like a table or a piece of whiteboard or even my chalkboard, and let it dry in open air. Before it's completely dry, put it under something really heavy and flat like a stack of books if you want a really flat piece of paper. This particular piece, I just let it air dry, so it is a little bit wrinkly. So there's the finished piece of paper. It's about the thickness of a lightweight cardstock. So I can adjust how much mash I use accordingly depending on how thick I want my paper.